How's it going? I'm Dave, founder of Halloween Year Round. And if you live anywhere in this area, then I'm willing to bet when you look outside, it probably looks a little something like this, with a whole lot of this. So I thought it would be fun to do a little mini bonus episode here on the YouTube channel about my top 5 favorite snowed-in horror movies. So these are movies that, in times like this, are just fun to put on, So before I get started, I want to define what I mean by a snowed-in horror movie. So firstly, I'm not counting any Christmas-themed horror movies that happen to feature snow, because I feel like that's its own list, that's its own thing. So I won't be counting anything like Black Christmas or Rare Exports, or even something like Krampus, which does feature people getting snowed in and trapped, which I'll get to. But because that's primarily a Christmas movie, I'm not counting it. I'm also primarily focused on horror movies. So as much as I love The Hateful Eight, and as much as I think that's the perfect snowed-in movie, as, they get snowed in with a blizzard, I'm not considering it for this list because it's kind of more of a crime thriller than, straight-up horror. So, I'm defining snowed in as not just a horror movie that features snow, but there must be some sort of sense of isolation, or someone is trapped somewhere. So, without further ado, let's get started. Number 5, 30 Days of Night. So this one works perfectly as both a piece of action horror and monster horror, as when it comes to vampires, this came out at a time when vampires were kind of romanticized, and that was the norm, that was the trend, and movies like the Fright Night remake, and especially 30 Days of Night, I love how it leans heavily into the monstrous aspect of them. I love the sort of ancient tribalism that they go with. And it's a movie that explores a really creepy phenomenon that in places, in parts of Alaska and other places up north, you do get that 30 Days of Night. And, what better way to exploit that, to exploit the isolation of this tiny town in the middle of nowhere, than it being overrun by vampires and there's no escape. Number 4, The Lodge. Alright, before I start getting angry comments down below, hear me out. I know I said no Christmas movies, and technically in The Lodge they are staying at that cabin for Christmas, but other than being briefly mentioned, Christmas virtually plays no role in this movie. There's not even any decorations out. It's primarily about them stuck there, and I'm willing to not break the rule, but I'm willing to bend it a little bit to include this one, just because I absolutely love this movie. I saw it in theaters. I was I think I was the only person in the theater back when it came out. But I love its sense of isolation, how they're stuck in that cabin, and just as the movie goes on, spoiler alert, you're not sure if they're really dead or if it's just the kids, messing with their new soon-to-be stepmother. And I like that we the audience don't know that for the longest time. In any type of isolation horror, there's that sense of impending madness, and that one captured it in kind of a subtle and creepy way that I haven't seen done properly in a very long time. Plus, you have the whole, religious cult angle, which the first time I saw it, I felt like that was really out of place. But when I watched it the second time, I saw how that kind of plays perfectly into, your main character, and how she's losing her grip on reality, and how her background in that cult kind of feeds into her propensity to believe in the fantastic or the terrifying. Number 3, Frozen. No, not the Disney movie Frozen, the one that came out a few years before. And the $1 billion that Disney's Frozen made, I mean, Adam Green should get at least some of those royalties for, having the title 3 years before. I actually just watched that one tonight before I came out here, so it's the freshest in my mind. What can I say about Frozen? I'm standing out here right now, and I'm feeling it. No movie really makes you feel the cold like that one does. And it's such a simple and straightforward premise. It's not trying to be anything deeper than that. It's not trying to be anything, more brutal than that. It's just simple survival horror, but damn, is it effective. When Parker's hand is on the bar and you watch it, peel her skin, or when Dan jumps out and gets the compound fracture in his legs. My God, is that movie... It's hard to watch at times. It's disturbing, and I'm just going to say it. I love the Hatchet series, but, for what it's worth and what it's trying to do, I think Frozen might be Adam Green's best movie. Number 2, The Shining. Now, how could I talk about isolation horror and snowed-in horror without mentioning my favorite horror movie of all time? Well, tied favorite with The Exorcist. So, The Shining, kind of like I said it with The Lodge, when I said that I hadn't seen that done well in a long time. The last time I saw it done this well was in The Shining. There's documentaries about it. There's not a whole lot to say that hasn't been said. I'm not going to really delve into the crazy fan theories or anything like that, but I will talk about its sense of isolation and how it uses the winter and the snow, as a type of villain, as a force keeping them there, and as a force that can really drive you insane. I think we all learned from the last year of, being forced to stay in our homes for a very long time, just what isolation can do. And imagine that without the internet, without Zoom, without cell phones, the Torrance family, they're screwed from the beginning. It is not for the faint of heart or the faint of mind. And I love how not only does the winter play a role, a plot point in keeping them there, but I love how the winter provides an obstacle and really a final challenge, at the end where Wendy and Danny try to escape, and it's because of the snow they're stuck there, and ultimately it is that winter that, ends up killing Jack. Spoiler alert for a 41-year-old movie. And finally, number 1, John Carpenter's The Thing. Now, I will say this. I like The Shining better as an overall horror movie, but no movie captures the sense of isolation and paranoia caused by snow and winter than The Thing. That's a movie where, at least in The Shining, you see it before the snow comes. You see it, when it's nice out. In The Thing, from the very beginning, they're quite literally like the furthest you can be away from civilization. And that plays such a role in the paranoia of, trying to figure out who's who, which one of them is the thing. Because where are you going to go? It's such an atmospheric movie. And it's one that whenever I so much as see a flurry, I'm like, it's time to watch The Thing. It's time to watch The Thing. And it's sort of become a time-honored tradition, in my house that we do that. I'll say this, Halloween gets all the credit and the attention. I think The Thing is Carpenter's best work, hands down. No other movie captures the sense of fear and dread. No other movie deals with, all your characters they're smart, they're clever, they make the right choices, and they still die anyway because of just this, literally this thing that they're up against. And the winter not only provides a setting, but it provides that sense of dread, that where are you going to go? And ultimately, the winter and the cold provides a sort of escape for The Thing, where, Kurt Russell's character says, this thing, it doesn't mind waiting. It's been waiting in the ice for, 30,000 years. What's another few thousand? So, in a weird way, it's like the snow and the winter. actually help the thing. So, I don't know about you guys. I'm definitely going to try and watch all 5 of these before this stuff melts. If you're snowed in like I am, try and enjoy. Try to have fun. Build a snowman. Evade wolves. Don't murder your family with an axe. As always, like, share, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. If you don't, you will be stuck in an eternal winter, like Frozen. Not the Adam Green one. Now I actually do mean the Disney one. Remember to stay scared, and every day is Halloween. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go back inside and get warm now, because I've been out here for too long, and I'm losing the feeling in my fingers. Waiting for the snowplow to drive by. I thought shooting this at 10:30 at night would mean there'd be nothing going on out here, but I was wrong.